So as you saw, that little 10-minute ritual to destroy the British using fucktard idiots as the gateway to channel everything done to the little kiddies in the Rothschild rabbi bunkers, all the torment, all the damnation, all the black magic done on them, downloaded by the idiots to the south of the altar and their idiot dogs into the British population. So what we're doing is taking all the damnation done on the children over the millennia by the Illuminati Rothschild rabbis, and in the Brighton Park, downloading it into the British filth to hellize the country. And all it took was 10 minutes and some willing victims, who of course are sitting to the south of the altar where the victim has to sit. Why of course do we use 4? Because remember, it's the Yod Hey Vav Hey shit of Kabbalah, where you've got the 4 letters, and the dogs of course are the servants of Hecate. And remember, we've turned Val, we've got Yod Hey Vav Hey, we've turned Val into Iris Goldsmith, so the vowel's gone, so we have Yod Hey Hey Hey. So we have 3 women, and then we've got the old git, the eunuch, who of course is the hellized Yod, Amalekized. So we had 3 old bints and an old git to do the ritual. So as you can see, magic supplies to the Ipsissimus, willing victims to destroy the country. Because remember, I only came back to the UK to do hell magic on the British filth and destroy the country. Now of course this is the perfect ritual to go over blood, vampirism, death and moon magic. The rituals devised by Crowley involve the use of blood. They are the mass of the phoenix and a certain secret rite of the Gnostics taught in the sovereign sanctuary of the OTO. In the mass of the phoenix, the magician gashes his breast and absorbs his blood orally. So with the vampire, we don't gash the breast of ourselves. We've got the 4 fucktards up the top, who we can call up. And we simply call up the first fucktard that was on the south. We gash its breast with this one and drain it with a crystal. Simple vampire technology. Pop, there we are. So we do that for the bioplasm and the soul fluid. We wanted to call it up twice. That's it. Gash, suck dry. The second fucktard. Gash, suck dry. Third fucktard. Gash, suck dry. And the 4th fucktard. Gash, suck dry. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, good. That is your vampire stones. That's how they're used in their most simple form. And of course you can then download the energy into yourself. Then we have all the dogs. Gash, drain, dry. I don't mind dogs either. Anything goes. There we are. So as you can see, with your magic kit, your black and white crystal allow you to enter into the world of vampirism. So the magician absorbs the blood orally. In the rite of the gnosis, he unites himself with the source of the manifestation of form, i.e. the yoni, and consumes the wafer soaked in blood. So the whole Christian faith is vampiric and cannibalistic. We're eating and drinking the body of the victim. The act is thus a sacrament imbued with a magical current of his own energy expressed in the terms of will. It is an electrochemical formula. So one's consuming the bioplasm and the soul fluid. Blood is the great materializing agent both for spirits that would incarnate in this world or on this plane, and for spirits which remaining in another world wish to assume a shape in order to impress their presence upon human beings. Homer and other writers of antiquity have described magical rites involving the use of blood that manifested the shades of the departed to visible appearance. Blood also forms the physical basis for the materialization of elemental and demonic forms. So here, of course, since we use the 4 fucktards to get into the British population, and the modified name, which isn't Yod-Hey, Vau-Hey, but Amalek, and of course the tortured Shekinah, which died in Serena Rothschild and Iris Goldsmith. So that would just be the tortured Hay, the male principal, which now of course has been turned into the Wicker Woman, Iris Goldsmith, the Wicker Woman, or in fact the Wicker Girl. She's only 15. And of course then we've got the final Hay, the tortured Hay again, yeah, which is now our new name for God. Yod-Hey, Vau-Hey. Yod-Hey, Vau-Hey. Gone. And we've got the new name. That's why we wanted the 4 fucktards. The old Git. And the 3 hags. All to the south of the altar. So what we've done is release this new God name into the earth energy field of the planet via Britain, via the South Brighton. That's why the vermin had to be in the south, in order to initiate the death of the UK. And as you can see, the dogs are going crazy because of course hell has been released on their owners in the country. Now we see with the blood, let's call up the archetype of the British via the 4 fucktards. There we are. So we slit it, drain it dry, which means the British population has been fully drained dry. And remember, you can use, according to the book, blood to manifest spirits. So what we're going to manifest now is Parowan, the angel that destroys America. So we call up Parowan, it's very big. And we can simply add, remember, blood manifests spirits, and we put in the blood of every member of the British filth sacrificed in Brighton on the 17th of July with an N in their name. Because remember, that's how it works, the N, and we just insert that into Parowan in order to use our sacrificial death goats, the British death goat Jews, in order to build Parowan up into a being that can drop Cumbre Vieja, blow Yellowstone, San Andreas, get North Korean H-bombs on the Tesla factory, Oregon Rift, New Madrid. Bang, gone, worked, vanished. So now we successfully weaponized Parowan to destroy the West, using the blood of the British victims who had N in their name, following the rules. So you can see that little 10-minute ritual was the end of the West. Continuing. The theory underlying blood rites is based on the biblical identity of blood and life. Genesis 9:4. The feminine seminal source is equated with the masculine energy, prana, ruach, spirit. Hence blood is the vehicle of spirit and the means of manifesting spirits. So you can drain the blood. Now in fact, it isn't the blood you're draining, it's bioplasm. So you can simply call up Katy Perry again. There's Katy Perry. And you can use Katy Perry to drain all the bioplasm out of her fangs. And everyone who's ever watched a Katy Perry video. There we are. Now, instead of slicing the woman, since she's my familiar, I can simply absorb all of that blood. The bioplasm in the blood's what you want. That's what is carried in blood into myself. Why? Because I'm turning myself into a total spirit. So blood, with the vampire process, turns the human into a god being. And if you've got, like Perry, billions of people who've watched Perry videos, you can simply fill yourself up. Similarly, let's call up Taylor. There's Taylor. Call up all Taylor's fans. Simply get her to extract all of the bioplasm out of her fans and then stick it in to me. There we go. Same with Ariana Grande. With Ariana Grande, we've got proper blood. Remember all the little girls blown to pieces in Manchester? Let's call up Ariana Grande and her fans and all the dead victims, and then we simply draw all that energy into me, because I'm worth it. The same with Gaga. There we are. Draw it all in. And the next one, little Miley. There we are. Draw it all in. Beyonce. You see I'm using the females. There we are. And of course, Madge. Yep.
I've got to say, L'Oreal, their adverts, they haven't said that at the end of their adverts for a long time now, because I'm worth it. They've gone back to that this week.
Yeah.
Saw Jerry Halliwell advert, and at the end she said, because I'm worth it. And I've not heard that for years, apart from you saying it.
So the dual components, male and female, refer to the soul of darkness and the soul of light, the spirits of Set and Horus respectively. These again are Hor, Pa, Krat and Ra, Hor, Kuat, the dual polarities of Heru, Ra, Ha, Horus, through which the balance of the cosmos is sustained. In moral terms, this duality expresses itself as good and evil. In the symbolism of the Gnostics, the serpent and the dove are the typical glyphs of this polarity. Let's continue. Applied to man, these twins embody the idea of the soul and the spirit. So the soul is female and the spirit is male. The soul is the astral shade. The stellar light and darkness are represented by Set and Sirius. The spirit is the solar body of light represented by the sun. One is night, the other is day. One male, one female, one male respectively. The Egyptian determinative of the human double was the sunshade, which combined these two ideas in one image. It was called the Kabet, and it survives in the English word habit as something repeated or doubled, something put on or off, or as occasion demands. Every individual assumes and relinquishes this habit or shade each time he sleeps and awakens. During sleep, the light and dark aspects of the shade are unified and appear to be identical, unless the sleeper is an initiate, in which case he is conscious of the distinction. In death, which is a longer sleep, the two become discrete, the dark shade hovering over the corpse, the body of light finally breaking away from its twin and soaring aloft like a golden hawk. So that leads us on to astral projection. And of course, lucid viewing, which is using your bioplasmic body. In the dark shade for which proprietary offerings were laid in the vicinity of the mummy, the latter is depicted in the hieroglyphics by a fish, which depicts it with the waters of blood or birth. In a magical sense, the fish signifies rebirth of the Ka, or soul of light, into the world of spirits. So all of this supernatural spirit magic schools, all about giving yourself a super soul and changing your fleshly body into a body of light to transcend the human form. So as you can see, you can't have enough energy. The more energy you've got, the longer you live, and even if you're blown to pieces, you can simply move your awareness into a baby or push out the awareness and soul of some little billionaire-esque adolescent to take them over. But you can't do this with low power. It's all high energy power phenomena. And to get high energy power, you've got to be a vampire. And you've got to use death, you've got to use blood, and of course moon magic, which comes from the female. Hence we're doing it in the graveyard. There was no way I could have destroyed the British population and hellized the country anywhere else but in a graveyard, with the British of course agreeing of their own free will to destroy themselves. Much that was dark, if not actually black, in Egyptian magic was practiced by sinister priests who perverted these mysteries to personal ends. One such perversion involved the enslavement of a departing shade so that it might be used as a familiar spirit in the service of the magician. So of course we have the 4 fucktards. We can call up their shades. There we are. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we are. And through them we can call up the shades of the entire UK population. There we are. And then of course what one simply does is to enslave them. One puts round the collar of darkness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, to enslave them. And then of course at the end of this crystal we then put it on this one. So now what we've done is to control the mass mind of the UK population. Simply done just like that. Now of course one can then input into the crystal anything one wants the British population to do. And as you can guess, destroy the country. Done. Simple. Then just send it off. Go you filth. So one can see the 2 crystals you have with the magic kit are immensely powerful. And you wonder, why would he give us a magic kit which we can do this? So he's not giving us a psychic AK-47, but a psychic warfare nuclear weapon. Why? Simply because I can. And my customers are worth it. Abnormal hungers were engendered in the consciousness of the dark shade through lack of posthumous nourishment. In all ages and in all places, therefore, great care was taken by relatives of the deceased to ensure that the departed spirit could replenish its waning vitality in the orthodox fashion, i.e. by drawing upon the subtle counterparts of the food offerings laid in its tombs. In this case, of course, we call up our British filth. There we are. Bang. And of course we program them to feed off their basest desires, which of course have been given to them. Who is the Christ of the British race? The Christ who's defending Britain from invasion? Who's Britain's new Christ and carries the basest instincts of the British, the lowest form of filth of the British? No?
Tommy Robinson?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lennon Yaxley,
Yeah,
the
the
fraudster.
Yaxley. Yeah,
So we
yeah.
stick, there we are, the poison of Lennon Yaxley, Tommy Robinson into the British population. Bang, there we are, accepted. Send it off. Britain's Christ being crucified in Her Majesty's prison. You gotta love this stuff. I think MI5 are going to get upset, don't you?
Just a bit.
Just a bit. The mummy was used as the physical medium through which the energy was absorbed. That is to say, the mummy or mumia, the flesh or congealed blood, formed the material basis for the manifestation of the shade during its feasting. Innumerable tales of horror have elaborated the theme of the malevolent mummy, which on being unwrapped exhibited signs of recent feeding through having lain dead for centuries. The magically imprisoned shade used the mummy as a basis for its activities, a situation not impossible in actual fact. If victuals were not periodically supplied by relatives or friends of the deceased, the corpse would turn its attention to living people. Posthumous rites and food offerings were originally of a proprietary kind, designed to offset the hideous hauntings with which the literature of occultism abounds. It is at this level of mythology that the legend of the vampire has its roots. The magical formula of rejuvenation involves an analogous process, with the significant difference that the vampire is alive, not dead. So here, of course, we call up all of the tortured victims of the Illuminati, all the life force, sexual energy that they supplied by being tortured, butchered to death, and put into hellish prisons by the Illuminati magicians, all that energy. There we are. And the end user, of course, is top of the tree, which is me. Thank you, Rothschild rabbis. Well, that's good. There we are. Now we call up all of these Illuminati torture-pedos. Yeah, let's call them all up. That's it. And of course we slash them. And suck up all their energy. Give it to me, because I'm worth it. There we are. Now, of course, we then turn them into a shell. So we call up all the filth of Amalek. There we are. All the poison of Amalek. Remember, like a Komodo dragon, when it bites you, it doesn't kill you from biting you, it kills you from the poison bacteria in its mouth. And we then, of course, cover the Rothschild rabbis, starting at the top, in a shell. There we are. There we are. Let's cover around. There we go. So we shellize them. Then, of course, we put round their collar, slave collars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we are. Remember, in Enochian magic, everything's done by sevens. Do it again, 7 by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we are. Then we can lead them off into hell. In this case, of course, we can lead them off into a tomb. Into a tomb, here we are. This tomb will do. And then we just pull them in. Pull, pull, pull. There we are. Gone into their tomb. And then we plop them down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we are. Which means now the Rothschild rabbis and all of the Illuminati following them are hellized, shellized, and of course we then add the missing ingredient, Serena Rothschild and Iris Goldsmith. There we are. Call them up. We shellize them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, much smaller because we're compactifying. Put on the slave collar. There we are. And then, of course, we go around and seal the tomb with death. So unless they can resurrect Serena Rothschild and Iris Goldsmith, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And remember, we do our little square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. So today we hellized all the Illuminati following the Rothschild rabbis and sealed them in using the death force of Serena Rothschild, that filthy sow, and of course Iris Goldsmith, who was sacrificed in my place. Because remember, I'm not trying to destroy the Illuminati religion. It's simply, I've taken control. You either follow me or you join the vermin in Omega Hell. And we can see here the gateway to hell, all done in the Brighton graveyard on July the 17th, containing the 1 and the 7. See, just by chance. And you see why I filmed in the graveyard. I've got all the things I need. The victims, the altar, and of course the grave. Now, here we are. Although Crowley only once resorted to sorcery of this kind, that's all I use, being a vampire, the king vampire, he knew certain adepts who made a habit of it, and he was on one occasion involved in mortal combat with one of them. The vampire selects the victim, stout and vigorous as may be, and with the magical intention of transferring all that strength to himself, exhausts the quarry by a suitable use of the body, most usually by the mouth, without himself entering in any way into the matter, and this is sought by some to partake of the nature of black magic. The exhaustion should be complete if the work be skillfully executed, because the more energy you get, the tighter you get. So the more magical work works, the more you want to go to sleep. If you feel zingy, like you've snorted or taken amphetamines, then you've lost energy. So it's a complete opposite what you think, because when you get more energy, the assemblage point moves and becomes flexible, which is what happens when you fall asleep. Your assemblage point moves. That's why when you get energy, you feel tired, really tired. The exhaustion should be complete if the work is skillfully executed. A few minutes should suffice to produce a state resembling and not far removed from coma. Experts may push this practice to the point of death of the victim, thus not merely obtaining the physical strength, but imprisoning and enslaving the soul. This soul then serves as a familiar spirit. The practice is held to be dangerous. It was used by the late Oscar Wilde and by Mr. and Mrs. Horace, blah blah blah, Mathers. So we call up little Iris Goldsmith. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now she, of course, was connected to the Vatican and the Catholics, not the Russian Orthodox Church, but the Catholic, 1 billion of them, plus all Hollywood, who did the Midsummer film to show the Illuminati I was going to be burnt alive, plus all of the Illuminati, plus Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom. So we got the whole 9 yards here. So we can simply ritually slit them, drain them dry, take all the energy, give it to me, and then of course cover them in the Amalek Shroud of Death. So there we are. That's it. Put on the slave collar. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we are. And then take them, because remember we've got Iris at the end, she's the full stop, into the 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we do our 13 square, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13. And again. There we go. Pop. Which has ended the Illuminati. The Illuminati now have been ritually executed, not by my hand, but by their hand, by the Vatican, all the 1 billion Christians in the Notre Dame ritual, all of the Hollywood with the Midsummer film, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, who are going to be the king and queen, the British government, who are going to burn me alive in the UK, and all the rest of them, all ritually consumed by their ritual, the blowback. So when you do a ritual, if it fails, it's a zero-sum game, and if the person you're doing it against is me, the ultimate bastard, then I'll take it to the nth degree. You lose, pay me with eternal torture and damnation. So now if we call up the archetype of the West, we find there is no archetype of the West. If we call up the archetype of America, no. Archetype of Britain, EU, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, all gone. So one can see the future of the West has been exterminated. Now if we look at the archetype of America destroyed by Cobalt-60, unleashed by North Korean H-bombs on Tesla cars and Tesla car factory, yep, there it is. The Cumbre Vieja dropping and destroying Western Europe and eastern seaboard of America, yep. San Andreas destroying California, yeah. Oregon Rift, yeah. New Madrid, yeah. Race war, yeah. Class war, yeah. Let's call up Israel, no? Israel fully cobalt-60ized and destroying all the medical staff, hospitals, planes, infrastructure thereof of Europe, yeah. All done. Signed, sealed, delivered. And all the energy to do that came from Hollywood via the Midsummer film and all their films, the Vatican, the entire French earth energies via Notre Dame, way back to the building of Notre Dame, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom leading the Illuminati, the British government and the British who were going to burn me alive, all now dealt with, and the entire Western infrastructure, because if I go to any Western country, they'll be flying in microwave weapons desperately trying to burn me. If I go to any, like for example, Cyprus, Greek Cyprus, yeah, burn him alive, fly him into Akrotiri. So now, of course, all the energy to do this hellization to the West, all done by my enemies. Yep.
Strangely, there's a lot of crop circles in France this year.
Are there?
I wonder why.
I wonder why. So the mass of the phoenix is the mass of the vampire. The magician, like the phoenix, after traversing the cycles of time or entering the caverns of blood, combines his own essence therewith and absorbs it into himself with the words, I entered in with woe, with mirth. I now go forth and with thanksgiving to do my pleasure on the earth among the legions of the living. Crowley himself practiced a form of moon magic for the purpose of replenishing his sexual energies after they had been depleted by prolonged magical ceremonies, but on no occasion did he carry the practice to the point of death. I just going sucking them dry. As you can see, the entire Western population's dead, finished, gone, all done in a graveyard in Brighton. It'll happen in the future, done already. It is unmitigated black magic and utterly contrary to the law of Thelema to interfere with the will of other individuals, much less to rob them of life. Shame, the entire West gone, all in one afternoon's work. What happened to Crowley ended up dead in penury in Hastings in a guest house, living off the charity of well-wishers. Crowley's partners were always willing. The act was never in the nature of assault, nor did it give them anything but pleasure. I love assaulting A-listers. That's the only purpose of A-listers. The Book of Law declares that the best blood is of the moon monthly. This is particularly true in the respect of the materialization of occult entities whose visible presence is necessary. Crowley has left many accounts in his magical records of rites involving what he terms the elixir rubeus, the red filter. The occasion he used it to materialize that singularly elusive commodity, money or red gold. The term is reminiscent of the red tincture of the alchemists and of the red or scarlet woman who substantiates it. Although the image of the Scarlet Woman is a literary device as used in the Apocalypse, it antedates the composition by several thousand years. Red is synonymous with gold, in the fire symbolism of alchemy. In the Tantras, red or black is the colour of Kali, goddess of time, seasons, periods, cycles. Kali, the black one, contains truth, the rooty or blackness which reveals itself in matter in the form of the purest metal, i.e. gold. Red, black, gold are equivalent terms. The menstruum or vehicle of light gold on the physical plane is blood, the liquid source of manifestation. The mystical water, the sea of infinite space, represented by Nuit, equates with red, gold or black, all of which are one principle, one tattva, one truth. So we call up, there we are, the menstrual blood, the archetype. That's why Colin Bloy's work is so brilliant. You can simply call up the archetype, which is much better than putting a cup under menstruating women. We can call up the actual archetype, see? And then we get the rings, the 5-1, which stands for the female, that's why it's blue, with the diamond inside also to suck out their awareness and make them my wetware. Stick it in. There we are. Stick it in. Pop. All goes in the ring. So all women's menstrual power, which makes money, has been absorbed by the power ring, which sits on the fifth finger, on the left hand for absorption. So you can see why I have a female ring, to milk my females. You might think this is all bullshit. I'm simply following the Illuminati science. He's making up. No, he isn't. He's reading from one of the numerous books of the head of the OTO, who died in 2011. 11 for death. Ritually sacrificed. In the symbolism of the Hebrews, the seal of Solomon exhibits the triangle of fire, gold, or light. Fire, gold, and light. Yeah, that's why the Jews have it on their flag. Fire, gold, and light. And the triangle of water or blood. Yeah. The union is the seal, the supreme symbol of spirit manifested matter, or God united with man. Yeah, around. As you can see, it's easy doing these magic videos when wankers do all the work. I'm simply revealing to you all the secrets of the Illuminati, and they're idiots, so they've written it all down. So it's the glyph of the great work. So that's why this symbol is in your crystals. So you can actually project or take up. Top bit, the fire, the bottom bit, the blood. So let's see if there's anything else interesting as we round off. Because one thing about Kenneth Grant is he just spouts on. No, that does for today. Complete, done.